Who said something about William Cooper? Fuck William Cooper. Don't listen to William Cooper. Follow me, a real patriot. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, my fellow YouTubers? What it do? This is again Surreal Wonder, and I just was thinking on a lovely Sunday morning before the football games come on. Disinformation agents. Who are they? Nobody talks about them. How would I identify them? And you know, as I was puffing sweet, sweet Chiba, I started to look out the window. I was like, you know what? What are some characteristics of a disinformation agent? Although, you know, you don't have any proof, you should always suspect. Because I mean, where would a typical disinformation agent be? Would it be on mainstream media? Why bother? Would you agree that it's controlled? Would you agree that there are agendas? And would you agree that there are heavy editing processes before anything goes on the air? So, you know, that would be, matter of fact, that probably would be the best disinformation agent. But you know what, that is the most popular. So is that even what I would call a disinformation agent? I'd probably call that a mass propaganda tool. Because that's exactly what it is. They feed disinformation on such a mass level that disinformation agent doesn't even begin to encompass what TV does. TV is all well and good. I like TV. It's entertaining. We just got to keep that in mind. So a disinformation agent, I think, would probably be like a person who would claim to be in the know and would really be working for them. They, the other side. Some would call them Illuminati. Some would, I only want to give them labels such that that's just even, that Illuminati today is now stereotypical, where, you know what, people are getting a different impression of what they are and who they are. To me, those people are just the people who I cannot identify, who mean to do me harm, who profit from my detriment, and who are in the places of power that really affect things on my day-to-day and implement policies that are not in me or my family's best welfare. Those are they, disinformation agents. How would you identify them? Well, they would probably claim to be on our side. Now, as I was puffing this sweet, sweet Chiba, I was thinking to myself, you know, a disinformation agent would probably be popular because that would be the best way for him to get his message across to those who he wants to delude, those who would probably upset the apple cart of they. So I was thinking, who, a part of this movement, would most likely be a disinformation agent? And I made this video because I want you guys to think the same way. When you pull up some cool stuff on YouTube, when you watch a cool DVD, you gotta be aware that not everybody's telling you the truth just for your benefit. They may have agenda or agendas, financial, or even more sinister. They want to lead you some down a dark path at their behest to bring about an end to a mean, or you know, a mean. Now I want you to think about that. You call yourself 9/11 truthers, you call yourself civil libertarians, you call yourselves birthers, and I am all these things. But we also have to be heavily skeptical of all our information. The more passionate the guy, the more better produced his video is, the more you should suspect him and double check his facts. Do you remember Bill Cooper saying that do not trust anything other than what you can prove? Remember when he said that? He wasn't just saying that for rhetoric. He wasn't just saying that because it sounded cool, man. It's real. And what I see on these posts on YouTube are blind sycophants of their latest idols, such as Alex Jones, such as David Icke, such as Michael Sarian. These guys give good information, but some follow them blindly and excuse actions that shouldn't be excused. First one comes to mind is Alex Jones. I'm going to put the link up there that I think everybody should see. I like Alex Jones. He was one of the first guys to put me on to like this truther thing, this 9/11 thing, this Bohemian Grove thing. But this nigga rants and raves like a madman sometimes. And these things are not taken out of context. At times he wants us to behave like madmen, like snarling madmen. I'm going to put up the link, and I'm going to put up like the YouTube videos that you should watch. Now I know that you can try to make a point, but if you want to be considered a leader in a movement such as like the 9/11 Truther movement, the birth movement, well, not even the birth movement, just the movement against they and truthers, you cannot represent us like that, because if you wasn't a truther, you just look upon him like a raving madman, even if he does mix facts with his personal lunacy sometimes. Like Alex Jones, man. I'm a man of passion myself. I rant and rave with the best of them. That's why I call this the rant and rave. But if I want to be taken seriously, and I want to be heard by those who I'm really trying to reach, I have to conduct myself in a certain, decorum. It's fun to joke. But Jesus Christ, man, don't excuse the actions of a crazy person because he has a lot of right. You can say that with a lot of people in history. They had a lot of right, but it was just crazy as I don't know what. Now, if I come to think about it, we don't know anything about, he didn't become this big time guy until Bohemian Grove. And this has always bothered me, and I'm going to say this publicly. Before Bohemian Grove, his documentary about that, he was kind of small time, and then he got elevated to the heights of the leadership of the Truther movement when Bill Cooper died and after Bohemian Grove. Now, Bohemian Grove is very enlightening, but, I start to think about it. And, you don't see any faces. What you see is a ritual. And what you see is a place that, is supposed to be Bohemian Grove. And you see the owl. And I'll think, could it be staged? How could he be the first guy to be in and the only guy to be let in since? And then he leads the 9/11 Truther movement, and he misrepresents us sometimes in media, sounding crazy, mixing facts with crazy, leading to believe everybody thinks us is crazy. The whole movement. Why is he on so much shows? I thought he was against Geraldo Rivera and the mainstream media, but now, he's getting on there more often. I'm not saying he's evil. I'm just asking you to question your leaders and hold them responsible for what they do. That's the whole point of this video.